Hey guys, welcome back to another video into iOS 10 development course. In this video, we're going to be dealing with the interface introduction of Xcode 8, and we are also going to be running our very first app. So let's get started by opening Xcode by doing a simple search for it in Spotlight. Once you open the application, this is what you are presented with, where you can see the version of the program. You have the option of either starting with the playground, which is basically a live feedback giving environment of what code you're writing as soon as you hit enter. You can start with the xcode project, where you can make an app and then see it working on various simulators of iPad, iPhones, Macs, or a whole bunch of different options. Or you can start with an existing project that you might be working on. So for this video, we're going to start with the new project. And you are presented with a whole bunch of different templates that you are provided with by the iOS developers. So on the top right here, we have single view application, which is basically one page application where you can do a whole bunch of things on just one simple page. Second is obviously game, if you want to develop a game. Third is master detail application, kind of like a mail application where you have a whole lot of information on one side. If you click on it, you get to know more about that information in the middle of the application and stuff like that. Page-based application is kind of like an iBook and stuff like that. So all of these options, you will be using it at some point, but for this video, we're going to be using single view application. Hit next, and this is where you name it. And as you guys know, the tradition is to start off with a hello world application, so we can do that. The second option is team, where you can add a team member if you're working on a team. Third is the organization name, the name of the company that you're working on or with, or if you own a company and stuff like that. And then there is organization identifiers. It is basically just the opposite of your web address. So it starts with com dot, the actual name of the website. Bundle identifier is something unique to your application once you post it on App Store, so it keeps you differentiated between the other apps and your apps. You can also choose what kind of app language that you're going to be using. Objective-C or Swift. We're going to be using Swift, obviously, for this course. You can choose what kind of device that you want this application to run on, either iPhone or iPad, or Universal for both of them. So we're going to hit Universal. Any of these options you don't have to worry about at the moment, so let's click Next. And this is where you find a location where you want to save it. And this seems to be a good place to save. Alright. It might seem a bit too much at the moment, but trust me when I say this, it's very easy. So as you guys can see, there are 3 different panes in this software. On the left side, we have various files that we can either choose from in terms of our codes or just a regular layout of our app in the view controller. View controller is basically representative of your device, and this area is the screen of the device, and this is where you put your layout. In the middle, we have where we can edit the code or change the layout. If you guys see the difference between the code and the layout is that code has only one section, whereas the layout has 2. The reason behind is sometimes our layout has so many things on it that it's really hard to select them one by one. Hence, we have all of them in this section individually, where it's easy to select any of them. On the right side, we have various information about anything that we have selected in the code area or the layout area, or any of these things. When we drop them off, we can change a whole lot of things about them. On the top here, we have a play button, which actually builds and runs your application on various simulators, which you can choose from the given simulators right here. And I have chosen iPhone SE just because, according to my screen size, this one looks a lot better. And for the very first time when you run the simulator, it takes forever. So let's just run it right now while we're talking about the rest of the stuff. So this right here shows the standard editor. which is basically what we have right now. And this right here, the assistant editor, when we click on it, this gives us two different panels within the working area, where we can have the layout on one side right here and the code right here, and we can incorporate both of them just in case we have to connect some of the things which we have on the layout. And to hide this extra information area which was there just in case you can't select any of the things that you have on the layout, this is the button right here which hides it. If you want to bring it back just in case, you click it again. So again, these are the two selections that we currently have just because of the assistant editor, where we can drag and drop things in between them and see what's going on. We can also change the kind of file that you are being shown here by clicking on right here and change the files right here. This right here, you don't have to worry about it at the moment. Let's continue on. And these three things are to make up some space for your working area. So whenever you have a lot of cluster going on, you don't have enough space. Like right now, we don't have enough space to see the actual view controller. So that's why we make space by hiding this area. You can also hide this entire area because you're not going to be using it all the time. There you go. And this right here is the actual debug area that is hidden. And by clicking on it, you can show it. And this is where you see all the bugs and stuff when you run your application. And as you guys probably guessed it, you can click on it by hiding all of this information right here. And there you go. Now you have enough area to work on with two separate panels within the working area. And that is all that you have about this software in general. Again, this is where you have all your files. This area is where you have the working area where you edit the code or change the layout and stuff like that. You can either have one of them or have them both at the same time. Again, when you have one of them being layout, just because of the fact that you might not be able to select all the information that you have on the layout, you also have this section which can be hidden very easily by clicking on that button. And once you have this, you can change the files that you're working on by clicking on these two files. And this is the code that you can change. Again, you can hide all of this information by clicking on this, and now you have a whole lot of information right in front of you by hiding all of this area. Now let's see what we have in terms of that file that was being run. So the simulator is actually working. It works just like a regular phone, but you can click on home button and it'll take you to the basic page. You can also scroll through the actual screen just like a regular iPhone. If you see that this is the latest version of iOS, that's why you have all these widgets available for you. Go to settings. Basically, it's the same as a regular iPhone. You can change the orientation by rotating it to the left and seeing that your application works according to various configurations of the screen. You can either click on your app again to enter it and see it changes its orientation automatically. That is all I have for you guys. I really hope that you guys are comfortable with the overview of the Xcode and know how to run your applications. And I'll see you guys in the next one.